Hi everybody, thank you for joining me. Today I'm trying out a vinyl cleaning gel that I've been sent. It's made by a company called Vinyl and it's sold online through eBay and Amazon by a company called Retro Supply Store. They got in touch with me because they'd seen a video that I did a couple of months ago where I was trying out my Christmas present that I got, which is a Spin Care record cleaning machine. You put the record in with water, you turn it around, cleans the grooves out, etc. And they liked what I'd done there, and they said, would you like to try some of our cleaning gel? So I said, yes please. So they sent me this. So I'm going to show you what I found from using this before, after, how the sound compares and what I think of it. My honest opinion, I've not been told what to say in here, but this is, you'll see, this is a runny liquid here. Good job I've got the lid on. And you put this on your record, leave it to set, pull it off, and the theory is that any sort of muck and rubbish that's in there in the grooves, this will set and stick to that muck. You pull it off and it brings it out with it. It doesn't stick to the vinyl. So that's the theory anyway. So I've used various things in the past to clean my records. This, as I said, I've used the Spin Care. I've used this spray that you get on, like a two-piece spray. You spray it on your record, wipe it off. To be honest, I don't think that really does much. I've also even tried the wood glue method. Now that is flying by the seat of your pants record cleaning. You've got to have some nerves to do that. It failed, and to be honest, using the wood glue method is the reason why I can't play my Paul McCartney Press to Play vinyl anymore. Maybe I could try and salvage it, but I need a reissue of it because I messed it up using the wood glue. So is this a lot safer? Absolutely. So here's what you do. You get a record that's got some dirt in it. Now I went to my local record store, Revolution Records in Selby, and I said, unusual request. Have you got a record that you haven't cleaned yet? Because they clean all the records before they get sold. Have you got anything that you brought in that you haven't cleaned yet and is really mucky and old and horrible? And they said, yeah, we've got this. So they gave it to me. Thank you for that. So that's one of the tests that I'm doing. And I've also got a record that this belonged to my mum. I remember my mum telling me back in the 80s that this was her favourite record of all time. Little Red Rooster by the Rolling Stones. But absolutely filthy it was. Again, I've got some before photos I'll show you of that, and we'll have a look at what it's like afterwards. So I thought that would be a good one to do to clean on this. So here's what you do. You get your record, you lay it out flat. You get a syringe with this. Well, they supply you with 2 syringes. You suck up some gel from the jar, and then you put it on your record. You put it all over. Now, I found it says to use sort of roughly 14, 15 millilitres on a 12-inch record. I found I want to go just a little bit beyond that. I felt a bit more comfortable putting a little bit more on, maybe around about 10% more. So you put that on. It says you can spread it either using like a credit card or you can spread it using your finger. I found using my finger to spread this around just felt easier. I felt like I had a bit more control over where it was going. The good thing is as well, I made one little mistake where I nearly squeezed this straight onto the inner label. I just missed, thankfully, but because this is quite should we say gloopy? Should we use the word gloopy? It stays where it is. It didn't then just sort of spread out like water would and go into the inner label, so I was fine with that. So you get a real nice covering across your record. You then put a little bit of paper on the edge. We're going to use that later to help peel it off. I found just a little dab more of the gel where you put in your paper. Again, sort of helps the paper to have something thick to grip onto. And then you leave it. You walk away. Now, I happened to do these tests late at night, so it was very easy for me. I just thought, I'll look at it tomorrow. Depending on how warm your room is, how much air circulation will depend on how long it takes to dry. It might take several hours. It might take just a couple of hours if you've got a room that's really conducive to drying conditions. But you leave it until it's completely set. Once it's set, then you get hold of that piece of paper and very carefully you start to pull it away. And this should come out in one lump as you take it. So you pull it back, pull the whole sort of set gel now that comes off in one piece. Bring it all off, and then you should see a vast improvement in your records. That was certainly my hope anyway. So here's what my 2 records that I was testing looked like before I put the gel on. And here's what they looked like afterwards. Definitely they look better. But do they sound better? That was a big question for me. So here's some befores and afters using exactly the same sound levels of what these records sounded like. I've still got the dried gel that I pulled off the 2 records, and you can really see, I hope the camera can pick it up, but you can really see that you've got an imprint of record grooves in there, which proves to you that the gel is really getting down into the grooves. This acts as a little bit of a solvent. Some pieces of dirt will actually dissolve and come out with this, so you won't see them in here. There might be other things where you can actually see the dirt that comes out. One thing that I did feel is that if I actually had proper muck in my grooves, I was always a little bit nervous with this, that as you turn it round, the brushes that are in here might sort of brush the dirt around and scratch the record a little bit. If you've got records like that, I would suggest definitely going to this, because this it won't move the dirt around. It's not going to scratch, but you'll be able to lift it out. I personally haven't felt yet that I needed to go beyond one clean with a record. If I did, I might decide to run it through this, but I haven't felt the need to do that yet. There was one other record that I did a test of off camera, and it's one that's behind me, the Proclaimers' Sunshine on Leith. Fantastic album, absolutely love it, but I listened to it the other night with headphones on, and I could hear a lot of noise between the songs. So I thought, right, okay, I'm going to give that a clean. So again, it was late at night, and it was interesting that my reaction was, do I go to this or do I go to this? And I felt that this was probably the easiest, quickest method. This, I could just syringe it on, rub it around with my finger, clean this out, get some water into it, clean it out, and then just leave it, and then a minute job the following day to pull the dried gel off. I felt that was easier than setting this machine up with my distilled water and leaving it on drying racks and cleaning it off and everything. So I think for convenience and quickness, this is the one that I will go to, especially if it's, it's not very often that I need to clean a record and I need it to be ready really quickly. If I did, I would probably go to this, because then I can dry it off and have it ready quickly, but that's not really something that happens often. I'm happy to just leave it for several hours with this. Because as well, if you're going to do both sides of the record, obviously you can only do one side at a time with this. So if it's a record that you're not going to need to play over the next sort of several hours, I would say that this is easy. Another thing that this does, as it removes the dirt, it also removes static from the record as well. So if you've got very staticky records, you should find a big improvement after using this. And I would imagine probably other cleaning methods as well. So overall, what do I think of this? Well, it's certainly too easy to use. It doesn't feel like a big commitment of time and effort if I want to clean one of my records. Just get the syringe, pop some on, spread it around with my finger, bit of paper on, walk away. Several hours later, pull that back off. Job's done. So I think it's very easy to use. I was surprised at the results of it, the way that it cleaned the records. With the ones that I used, they had kind of 40-year-old, almost like sort of mould or mildew on them, and it seemed to pull that off. I expected to have to do a secondary clean, but it doesn't look like I need to do that. There's a little bit of a chemically smell in the room after I've used it, but window open, that soon goes. It's not bad, it doesn't drift through the house or anything like that. It's just something that I noticed. I don't have any records where anything sort of really bad is kind of stuck to the record. If I did, I would certainly be happy trying this. It may well lift it off. If it didn't, I might consider going for a secondary clean with the spin care, but I can't really comment on that until I get such a situation. I think in terms of these sprays that I originally had before I got either of these other cleaners, I don't need those again. Certainly not using the wood glue method again, because I don't need that excitement in my life. And I think that one thing I found with the spin care machine was that I was very, very nervous about going right up to the inner groove, because I thought as I spin it, as the water's at the top, it's then going to drip down onto the label. I didn't get that happen because I didn't dare go high enough with the water level to risk it happening. Whereas this, I think I was able to much more confidently get in that run out groove with this, knowing it wasn't going to spread. So yeah, I'm happy with this. I'm going to continue using this, quick and easy to pull out as and when I need it on a record. If that's something you're interested in, there's eBay and Amazon links down below for Retro Supply Store who sell this. Thank you very much for them for sending this to me, and I hope that's been useful. Have you used this before or anything like this? Let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear from you, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.